When it comes to home saunas, it seems like you've got very few options available to you. One is that you dedicate a large amount of space and you simply have a professional one built. The other seems like you can go with the Sauna Box. The No Fade channel checking in. Jonathan here, and one of the things I miss about a local gym is a traditional sauna. One that provides high amount of heat and preferably not a whole bunch of weirdos. Now when it comes to a home gym environment, people want to have a sauna, but unfortunately it tends to cost beaucoup bucks, and that's why the Sauna Box has taken off. But it is still expensive, coming in around like $330 or more, depending on how you buy it. And the question you have to ask yourself is, the $330 Sauna Box and these competitors good enough to match what you would get at a local gym? Now, if you Google at-home saunas, you're gonna find 1,000 different ads and videos for the Sauna Box. They've got the biggest marketing budget in the game, and that is why most people go towards the Sauna Box, because that's the only thing that pops up when they do a Google search. However, there's tons of competition, and even though they look pretty much the same, they do have their differences, and they're not all created equal. So in today's video, we're gonna talk not only about the Sauna Box, but we're also gonna dive in to this Nordik Recovery. Now, my biggest complaint with the Sauna Box by far and large was the fake marketing. They show all of their advertisements as being outside, but when you read the instructions, it specifically says, don't leave it outside because it will get ruined by the rain or the wind. And that's not something that they actually highlight in their advertising. Number two, a lot of the people that come out of their ads of their Sauna Box look all glistened up with sweat, but you can tell by the look in their eyes that they haven't actually been sitting in a hot sauna for long. It's clearly 100%. They claim that their Sauna Box can get up to 130 degrees. Keep in mind, in a sauna, the hotter, the better. Frankly, if the sauna is not above maybe 115 degrees, you're really not going to get much benefit out of it. You might as well be sitting in your car with the windows cracked on a hot summer day. So let me go over how the Sauna Box, as well as this Nordik Recovery, works, and all the other ones that are similar to this on Amazon. You've got yourself an insulated tent. Now, as you can imagine, it's only insulated so much because, of course, it has to be fabric, it has to be breathable, and ultimately they've got to keep their costs down. The way it is heated is simply by pumping in vapor from boiled water. You get a pot that they provide, you put distilled water in it because you don't want any of your chemicals from your tap water to be heated up and vaporized and have you breathe that in. That gets heated up, the overflow, the vapor gets pumped in, and that creates heat. And enough chit chat. Let's take you inside the Nordik Recovery sauna to give you my honest thoughts. So a few differences between the Sauna Box as well as this Nordik Recovery in terms of structure. The material here is essentially the same. Now, if you go on the Sauna Box website, they'll tell you that their material is not made out of any harmful chemicals, so you're not going to breathe any of that in. This Nordik Recovery doesn't tell you that. However, I don't know the science behind Sauna Box's claims or if they've been verified. Also, hopefully you can see that these are, you can't even see, there's metal piping on the inside. The Sauna Box is made out of PVC. I've personally felt that the metal piping is going to hold up better. Not that you're going to put it through much rigorous use, but it should hold up better. So in the middle, on both the front and the back, you've got these joints. What this allows you to do is you can keep the whole tent intact. You can pop these joints up and you can collapse this, basically taking it from what is the current state to basically a 6-inch thickness. Now, I don't know if that's really convenient. I think for some people, yes, you can set it up, take it down, but I think for most people, you're really gonna wanna set it up and leave it up. Otherwise, trying to get your sauna in is gonna take you
forever.
Time out. We need to take a break from all of my sweating in order to tell you to use the affiliate links in the description. They do help out the channel, and they help me pay for these products to review, to give you honest reviews. Now, this is the diffuser on the inside. You do have to be careful because this is exceptionally hot in terms of when it gets heated up, it will burn you to the touch, so you kind of want to put it off to the side so that you don't touch it. Now, for those of you that have any idea about thermodynamics, the biggest issue has to be the exterior temperature, because with this thing, it doesn't have great insulation. So if your exterior temperature is very cold, you're never gonna get this thing very hot. And that was part of the problem I had with my Sauna Box. I did it in my garage in the wintertime, and even though it wasn't that cold, it was definitely cold enough that I couldn't get the temperature hot enough. Now, currently, for reference, my garage is at 75 degrees, and it is starting to feel pretty warm in here, pretty moist, as you can see with the camera, and that's just kind of how it is. A lot of people will get these and think that they're super hot because there's so much moisture. They think they're sweating. The reality is, I'm not actually. I think I've just started to sweat, but all the water on me is just the water vapor in the air that's kind of condensing when it touches my skin. So how hot does this thing get? I've measured this. It currently gets to 120 degrees. I have not been able to get it hotter. I imagine if I actually put this on my back deck in the middle of the summertime where it gets direct sunlight, I could probably get this up to 130, and that's really where you want to be with the sauna, 130 or more. Like anything, more is better, up to like 175 degrees, but in terms of a sauna, you really want to get that heat as high as possible. The other problem is temperature. Now, if you keep this inside your home, you probably can standardize the temperature to like 75 or 70 in the wintertime. But if you plan to have it in a garage or maybe even a basement, you're going to have a colder exterior, which means you're never going to be able to get the heat inside as hot as you want it. And that may very well be a problem because you're going to be spending a lot of your time in the sauna. You're going to feel warm. You're going to feel like pretty cool. It's warm. I'm sweating, even though most of this water right here on my chest is just moisture in the air. And you're going to get out and you're not going to see the benefits. If you want the benefits of a sauna, you got to go hot. You got to drive up that heat and you got to stay in to it's almost uncomfortable. Now, as a reference point, I mean, I'm hot, I'm warm, I'm feeling good, in terms of like loosening up. But the local gym sauna that I used to use, I couldn't stay in it more than 15 minutes when it was like max temperature. I mean, it was literally uncomfortable. And that's really where you want to be in a sauna. You don't want to be like just lounging out on the summer like in the summer sun. You want to be almost uncomfortable, almost to the point of like, get me out of here. And currently this is just like not that hot. It is warm, and for those of you that aren't familiar with saunas, you're probably going to think that it's hot enough, but temperature-wise, I wish it could get hotter. Very much like the Sauna Box, this says you can use it outside, but you need to leave it inside. You can't actually leave it outside overnight or over a long period of time, because eventually the wind will pick this thing up and treat it like a kite. In fact, that's how my Sauna Box broke, is that I left it on the deck accidentally for a day, and whoosh, the wind took it and snapped the PVC. Now, I am 6'1", and you can stand up. My head's just hitting the ceiling. I think for most people, you're going to stay seated. It is hotter the higher you go. As you can imagine, the heat builds up at the top and then kind of pushes its way down. So if you are looking to get max heat, you could stand up and maybe shadow box, move around a little bit. So another difference between the Sauna Box and the Nordik Recovery, and I think you're going to find this with a lot of the cheaper versions compared to the Sauna Box, is that this came with a worse chair. Now, the chair that the Sauna Box came with is nothing to write home about, but it was a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more wider. Now, I'm 6'1", 190. I'm an absolute unit. So obviously, if you're on the larger side, having a small chair could be an inconvenience. Sauna Box came with a mat to place inside the sauna. What was nice about that is that when you're done sweating and getting water everywhere, when you step out, you can literally just pull out the mat, dry it off, and put it back in. Whereas with this, you got a pool of liquid here. You've got to just kind of come in and dampen it up or open this thing up and let it evaporate. Now, this is the ultimate combo when you go from the cold plunge to the sauna. And I know for you, you're like me. You don't have $10,000 or the space to build some dedicated, massive outdoor sauna thing that costs not only a ton to build, but then to maintain. You need budget. You want effective and you want budget. And that's why we're reviewing this Nordik Recovery sauna. And I'm gonna hop right in. I got this thing nice and warm, and so we're gonna take you inside. So I've been experimenting with ways to get the sauna hotter. One thing I did is I actually put this sauna suit inside the sauna while it was heating up. Now, if you ever went into a normal sauna at your local gym or a really professional one that got super hot, I would never try to put a sauna suit on. It would be absolutely detrimental. But since this isn't getting ultra hot, I absolutely thought it would be a good thing to check out. I put it in before I got in, so this thing is already nice and warm, and it feels pretty good. I'm still waiting for this thing to heat up. When you do open up the flaps and get in, you lose a ton of heat, unfortunately. However, it's much better than just sitting in here from the start waiting for it to warm up. So a few things I do want to experiment with regards to this budget sauna is to make sure that I put it on like a foam mat to give me a barrier between the floor and this sauna. I didn't think of it ahead of time, and currently I can already feel like the floor is just ice cold just because it's just been on the floor. It's kind of like if you go camping, they tell you that like one layer underneath you is worth two on top in terms of keeping yourself warm and keeping the cold out. The other thing I'd like to do is get some of those like space blankets, like those super cheap space blankets, and throw one over the top. I think that would help keep this a bit more insulated. It might be small things like that that help kind of give me a couple of extra degrees, but largely I have to admit it has to be the exterior temperature. I think the hardest part for this budget sauna is where do you put it, because the idea of setting it up and taking it down all the time is just a no-fly zone. It's a no-go. You need a place that you can set this up and leave it up for like 80% of the time. And then you take it down maybe because you're gonna give yourself a week off from sauna, or maybe because you wanna clean it and store it for a bit. But you want a place that you can have this thing 80% of the time, and you need a place that's going to be relatively normal temperature. So I think your basement, if it gets colder like mine does, is out. Your garage, like mine, at least in the wintertime and the fall and early spring, are out. Ideally, if you had a massive bathroom, I would probably put it in the bathroom, assuming you had random space, but you probably don't. Starting to warm up now just a bit, but again, I'm nowhere near uncomfortable. I mean, I think if you get into a real sauna that is going to have a temperature of 150 plus, you're gonna be on the uncomfortable side, and that's really where you want to be. Not to the point of getting like sick or passing out, but just otherwise, just you wanting to leave the sauna. Like if you're in a sauna and you feel comfortable and nice and relaxed after like 10 minutes, you're not hot enough. You really should be like thinking about, man, how much time do I have to go? I want to leave. And that's really where the good stuff is in terms of like heat shock proteins and all the other stuff that they talk about. The benefits of the sauna happen at the higher temperatures. And now it's time. It is time for my final thoughts when it comes to not only the Sauna Box, the Nordik Recovery, and all of the knockoffs. First and foremost, and it probably goes without saying, you're never gonna get a $10,000 sauna experience from anything under $500. It's just not gonna happen. And I hate to break it to you. I know we wish you could do that, but it's just not gonna happen. I think that as far as the Sauna Box goes, the quality is there, and I think if you are looking for something to be in the 120 Fahrenheit range, that's fine as long as it's on the inside. And beware, don't trust any of those marketing photos. As far as the knockoffs and the Nordik Recovery and all the rest, if you can get this for less, I think they're very, very similar. I do know some people have tested out getting two of those heat pumps and connecting two at the same time. I think that would help overall getting not only the Sauna Box and the Nordik Recovery slightly warmer, and we're talking like a couple of degrees at most, but obviously it would warm up even faster. Now, if you are thinking about getting a sauna, but you're not quite sure, I would absolutely recommend to start with something like this. Get it, use it, make sure that you're using it consistently for a few months before you dedicate a whole host of money and a whole bunch of space in your home for a more industrial version. I even think that you could go with a lot of the budget stuff that we see on Amazon. I'll link them in the description, and even Temu. I get a feeling that most of them are made in the same exact factory and they slap on a different name at checkout. If you found this video at all helpful, use the affiliate links in the description. They do help out the channel, and it helps me pay for these products to provide you an honest review. You want 2 more honest reviews? Check out these videos. As usual, thanks for watching, and don't save anything for the trip back.